I mean, look at that. That is sort of like Garden Fairy in 4 shades. Am I wrong? I'm not wrong. Alright, I am filming a spring eyeshadow palette picks video, not only in a sweater and a navy smoky eye, but also when we are about to get 6+ inches of snow tonight. But it is past the first day of spring, y'all. It is past the first day of spring. So I'm not jumping the gun, but wow, it sure doesn't feel like spring. But I'm hoping that this kind of gets me into the mood, and hopefully it does you as well. This is a mix of palettes that I've used a lot in the spring, and also, honestly, it was a little bit self-serving because I was like, these are also palettes that I need to remember to pull out this spring. So we're gonna get into that, but if we haven't met before, my name is Kelly, and I'm a professional hair and makeup artist, and here on my channel, I strive to keep beauty real. Real honest, real relatable, and real fun. So if that sounds like something you'd enjoy, don't forget to click subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on future videos. Before we dive in, I know I mentioned the eyeshadow. This is not an eyeshadow from any of these palettes. This is actually from the Build Your Own Palette series. So this is a look created from my palette, which was mostly created from a random color generator. So if you want to check that one out, I will link it down below. I'm pretty sure it's going up before this one. Pretty sure. All right, let's go ahead and dive in. All right, I'm gonna start off with one that might not be something that you think of right away when you think of spring color stories, and this is the Dina Cosmetics Primal palette. But first of all, can I just say we've got butterflies, we've got flowers on the outside. That's spring, first of all. But I do really think that you can get a lot of fun springy looks from this. Now, are they going to be very bright, very colorful spring looks? Yes. Although you do really have some beautiful deep shades if you do, want to have something that isn't quite so like ba-bam. But I love a good range and good options. But you could also just kind of like stick to these top 2 here, add a pop of shimmer, and absolutely have some spring look. So I need to pull this one out more. I have not used this enough. Clearly, you can probably tell. Again, my Blend Bunny palettes don't fit in my eyeshadow drawers, and so they sort of sit tucked underneath my vanity, and I just forget about them. So again, this was sort of a self-serving, it was a little self-serving video to do today. So let me just do a couple swatches in case you have this one at home so that I can be like, listen, y'all, already, look, these 2 shades are very springy, these little pastels. Oh, and my hands right now are very, very dry. Hairdresser, coming off of winter, it's just gonna happen. But yeah, okay, I'm definitely gonna be pulling these out. Let's grab one shimmer. Grab this one here. So, I think right there, that would be a fun sort of springy look. You could absolutely, pull in, oh, I need an extra finger. Let's see, we could pull in this little purple here. Check that out, right? Springtime. Springtime on my hands. I always like to have a few eyeshadow palettes sitting out at the ready so that they're like sort of in the forefront of my mind. So I'm really excited to use that one. Obviously the Blend Bunny quality is great, and I do think that that would be a perfect palette for spring if you love a really good, strong, colorful look. Okay, let's kind of flip to the other side where it's like a little bit more muted, a little bit desaturated, and also on the other side of the size spectrum, and this is the Natasha Denona Mini Retro. So I have traveled with this one a lot. I think that this is just such a great little soft, easy to wear color story. It's very spring to me. You've got these like murky greens, you have these beautiful kind of like peachy pinks, just very soft, very easy to wear. This I think would be such a easy, fresh-faced spring look with, let's say a beautiful kind of like peachy pink gloss, a little glowy cheek, and you would be good to go. So I feel like most people have probably like seen most of these shades, but even just these shimmers, you've got that beautiful, like almost like silvery olive, and then, just some beautiful like soft mattes. So I think that this is one that if you have it in your collection, it's just pretty. It's just soft, like comparatively, it's sort of like Blend Bunny is gonna like scream where this one's gonna whisper. So it just kind of depends on what you want for the day. We might as well go into the other smaller palette that I have, and that is the Sigma Corta Rosa palette. Now Sigma did actually send this over in PR, but I do really think that this is an absolutely beautiful color story. I've already done one look with it here on my channel when I worked into that haul that they sent me. So if you do wanna see this one in action, I will have that link down below. But I'm gonna swatch some shades other than the ones that I use in that video. So we'll stick kind of to some of these softer shades, you know, something kind of like light and bright. Ooh, this one I haven't used this yet, this little like light kind of sparkly shade, and then we'll pull up that brown because this brown just looks like a yummy, almost like plummy brown. It has a beautiful like cool toned plum to it. So again, this is absolutely beautiful. I used more of the berries out of here in the video that I did, but you could obviously get some really pretty soft, more neutral looks as well from this. And again, I think that this could be one that you could travel with. You know, you could use the neutrals. There's also that beautiful warmer shade in here if you want something that's a little more toasty, but you could do a fun berry look, you know, keep it soft, do it bold. This is a really nice one. And sometimes it's just nice, you know, on days where you are in a hurry. And if you're like me, like I want all the options, but some days I should not have all the options, you know, because then I'm gonna like, which one do I want to wear? Do I want this lid shade? What do I want to do? Do I want to do a couple? You know, and then it's like all of a sudden I've spent 7 minutes of my 15 minutes that I have to get ready just hemming and hawing over which shade to use. So sometimes it's nice to have a smaller selection that you can still get a wide variety of looks from. And that's definitely what you can get out of that palette. Now, sort of on that vibe, I wanted to talk about this one because again, I really need to use this more, but this is another one where you just have so many shades to pick from and it keeps it really simple. And that is the Flower Beauty Desert Lights palette. So I'm gonna open this just because I'm sure the glare is too much with that plastic. So these are all shimmer shades. That Terra shade does come up a little bit more like not quite molten, but the rest of these are very molten. I think everybody who has been on YouTube and can enjoy some good quality drugstore makeup, anybody who's been around for a while has probably tried the Jungle Lights palette from Flower. So this is very similar formula, that really like molten, creamy formula, but it's obviously in, you know, a little bit lighter tones, you know, those springtime kind of rosy shades, and I really like this one. So obviously you'd probably want to pair this with some mattes, but you could very easily just do a one and done with these. Or if you're like me and you have some fun matte liquid shadows, these would work really great over the top. Look at that, just so molten, absolutely beautiful. Now, I know I've talked to a few people who have said that they had trouble if they had these palettes shipped to them, especially I think the Jungle Lights palette. I haven't had a problem. Both of mine, I think I had shipped to me from Ulta. Oh, no, maybe one was from the brand. Sorry, can't remember, but both times I didn't have any problems, but I know that some people say because they are this like softer, you know, really emulsified formula that maybe they have issues in shipping, but I personally haven't had an issue. And for the price, especially because you can find deals, you know, Ulta does obviously like discounts and then there's coupons and points and all the things, you can really get a good price on that one. So if you like that, you know, rosy soft color story, it's one that I definitely think is worth giving a go. I don't know if the mini retro is still available, and I think Primal was discontinued. So some of these are just gonna be like, hey, if you have these in your collection, remember to pull them out. But some of them, you know, if it sounds like a color story you'd like, I will have everything that I can, by the way, linked down below in the description box. Okay, we might as well go into one that is sort of along the theme of the Desert Lights palette, but you have some mattes, you have quite a few more depth options, and it is a higher end brand if that's more your thing. And we're talking about Patrick Ta. This, of course, is the Major Dimension 2 palette. I love this palette. I absolutely love this palette. What I will say is, for me, in this palette, it is truly all about the mattes. These mattes are just absolutely beautiful. The shimmers are nice. They are definitely a little bit more dimensional. You know, they have that base color with some like multicolored flecks. They have even like a multi-chrome in here, but there's just something about the mattes in here. I was very, very tempted to grab the all matte palette that Patrick brought out last year. Haven't done it yet. I really like these. I don't know, there's something about it. So this second shade here, this like more warm mauve, I wear this so much. I'm surprised there's not like a mega dip in the pan because it's like my easy go-to, very flattering on the eyes kind of vibe, and it is absolutely wonderful. So very easily you could just have a really light look, but you can of course dip into the deep side. I can't remember when I first got this palette. I did a few looks with it, and there was one that I wore the one day, and Jeremy was like, I hope that that's kind of the makeup that you're gonna wear for our wedding someday. And I was like, okay, well that's good to note. So he just really liked, like, whether it's deep or just more like light and soft, I think he kind of likes everything as long as I'm not wearing too much highlighter. But you know, it's like, ooh, pretty. So that's exactly what I feel when I wear this. But gosh, can you see how beautiful and lusciously, I'm gonna say creamy, but it's not, it's almost, yeah, I mean, they do kind of feel creamy. Like, I don't know, I just love this formula. As I'm touching this now, I'm like, that might be a purchase for me at some point when there's a good sale. I don't know, we'll have to see. By the way, if you have that palette, if you have the all matte one, let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Okay, moving on to more spring eyeshadow palettes. All right, here is a palette that I absolutely fell in love with when it came out. And if you are into more grungy brights, you know, like colorful, but a little bit of grunge, this is the perfect palette for spring. And this is the Fantasia palette from Dina Cosmetics. I mean, so pretty. And I absolutely love this color story. This is definitely that like softer, more murky, you know, it's sort of like grungy Lisa Frank. That's absolutely what I get from this. The mattes are gorgeous. The shimmers are absolutely beautiful. I mean, you just can't go wrong. This is only available, by the way, as the full palette. You cannot get the singles from this, but it is absolutely well worth the purchase. Of course, I think everybody fell in love with the Ember Rain shade. That's the beautiful, like, I mean, it's just got such a beautiful, lovely shift from this peach to purple. There's almost like a bit of an aqua flip in here. If you are a purple lover, some of the shades in this one are absolutely to die for. I also really enjoy this like murky, cool toned shade here. So this top one is Ember Rain. And honestly, I mean, there are just some shades in here that are absolutely worth getting the palette. And I really enjoy that these are removable. So if you're like, I don't know if I would reach for X as much, you could pop it out, put a different single in here, but it is a really beautiful color story. I did actually purchase this myself. Davina has sent me some PR, and I do have an affiliate code, which is KEEPBEAUTYREAL. I don't know if it will work on the palette, but if you're gonna pick anything up, I mean, try it. I'm actually not sure, but probably should ask Deandra that. But if you're picking anything up, you can use that code. It's applicable on most items. All right, so which one should I grab? So many pretty things here, and my hand, I should probably switch hands now to give this one a break. All right. So another pretty palette that was sent to me in PR, and I got so many beautiful looks out of it. This is the Sakura palette from Alra Ego. So this, I mean, I think you can probably tell here, this is sort of duping the Natasha Denona retro palette. So, you know, kind of similar color story, obviously not the same formulas by any means, but honestly, I just loved every single look I got out of this. I had really good luck with the shadows. I did do a video, I think, with looks just from this palette. They sent me a couple other palettes, I will say. I liked the other palette that I used as well that they sent me. So I've had really great luck if, you know, you are more on a budget and you're looking for a beautiful spring color story, because you can get these palettes at a great price. I think, oh, I said I was gonna switch hands. Oh well, we'll do it one more time. Sorry hand, sorry left hand, you're just gonna have to take one for the team today. But I think that these, you know, they have that beautiful like springtime vibe, but they're a little bit more on the murky side. I have gotten beautiful pink looks. I got some yummy green looks, even just like some nice neutrals. I don't know, I just think that this is great. You are not gonna get Natasha Denona formulas, right? Like this palette is much less. By the way, I do have an affiliate code with this brand. It is KEEPBEAUTYREAL. that isn't changing my opinion on this palette. It's not swaying me. You know, I just really love this palette, and I think that it's a great quality for the price, and I think that the color story is beautiful. I also like the size of this palette, and it's pretty sturdy. I would definitely feel comfortable traveling with this, and again, you could get a lot out of this. You could get these more like dusty neutrals. You could really combine them for rich, beautiful looks. I have a couple photos on my Instagram too of looks that I created from this, and I've loved them all. All right, so let's see, what else should we grab? I think that this, I think I listed this as my, was this my #1 eyeshadow palette that I tried last year? It didn't come out last year, and I don't think that you can get it anymore unless you snag it off of Mercari. This is the palette that I just got so excited over when I tried it, and this is the Nearly Natural palette from Glaminatrix. I mean, it's beautiful. You've got some rosy tones. You've got that beautiful kind of like fun olive. You've got some cool tones in here. Like, you've got a couple warm tones, which I don't even think I've dipped into yet. That one doesn't even look like it's been swatched yet. All right, we are definitely going to be using this one this spring. I am going to switch. Let's go ahead. We're going to swatch that warm tone here on the bottom, Second Skin. I definitely like the namesake shade, Nearly Natural. So, I mean, just look how pretty these are. And these definitely have a base shimmer, and then some of the shades have a really nice fleck to them as well. You know, they have a really beautiful texture. So you've got this mauve shade in here. We're gonna swatch that green shade. Oh my gosh, I am absolutely going to be reaching for this one this spring. So if you have this in your collection, I mean, look at that. That is sort of like Garden Fairy in 4 shades. Am I wrong? I'm not wrong. I love this one. If you have it, please pull it out. This was a gift and I will cherish it. Absolutely. Okay, this one might be cheating because it's a bundle of singles, but it is meant to sort of go together as a palette. And this is Mel's bundle from Sydney Grace. So, I mean, we're seeing a little bit of the same color stories, right? Because I had the Sakura palette, I had the Natasha Denona retro palette, and I feel like this is sort of like, it was Mel's mind coming up with what she really would have wanted out of a Natasha Denona palette. And I absolutely love this color story. So obviously she worked with Sydney Grace. I am missing one here. I think it must have gone into a BYOP that's sitting somewhere, but you can, I think this is still available. You can get this in the full bundle. You can also buy the individual shades. This is just such a pretty palette. It's very springtime. It does have a few more, you know, brighter colors, a bit of more of a difference than the Natasha Denona Retro does, which by the way, I do not have that palette, but I love this color story and I'm really excited. This one is definitely gonna sit out on my vanity to be used. So let's just swatch a few of these. This also, I think, includes one of my #1 favorite shades from Sydney Grace, Blushed. I bought the full set knowing that I had some like multiples. Like I already have Blush in a single, and I was like, yeah, I'm not mad about that because A, the price in the sale that I got was so good, but I was like, I can absolutely see myself hitting pan on Blush, which is that bottom one there. It's just that beautiful kind of like rose goldy neutral, but look at this, absolutely beautiful, just absolutely wonderful. So again, this is from Sydney Grace. The palette did not come with it. That is from my own collection. We have one more palette to talk about, and this is, I don't want to say an honorary mention, but it is one that I have not used yet. And I really need to. And it is going to be the perfect palette for spring. It's another Sydney Grace, the Blessed palette. So this one is in collaboration with Glitzy Fritzy. I mean, just from the outside, you can just absolutely see that it's going to be springtimey. I have not, like I said, I've not touched this one yet. I did not buy it when it came out. I really wasn't interested. And then I started seeing, by the way, I have the light version. Then I started seeing looks come through on the Sydney Grace Instagram. And I was like, oh my gosh, how did I sleep on this one? Like, I don't know what it was, but I like the fun pop of color, and you've got some beautiful neutrals in here. I probably won't ever use High School BFF. I'm not gonna lie, that's a very like icy silver shade, but everything else in here is really great. I mean, not that that one's not great, it's just not something that I ever reach for. So yeah, I mean, gosh, some of these shades are just so pretty. So I definitely slept on this one. But the pro of that was that I was able to get a really amazing deal on it. Oh no, I ran out. We'll do a palm swatch. It's fine. I got an amazing deal on it. I think it was in the Christmas and July sale. And so, hopefully you can see that there. We're starting to get crazy. It's the end of the swatching, but absolutely beautiful. You've got a nice range of depth, like having that Me After 60 in here. Ooh, this Irish Heat shade. Can I swatch this one? Whoa, haven't used that one yet. I mean, I don't think it's necessarily like a unique shade. It's sort of one of those like duochromy, like green brown shades. That's really pretty. This is so much fun. So anyway, I was like, you absolutely need to pull that one out this spring. This is the perfect palette for spring. I am glad that I got it on a great deal, and I'm glad that, you know, Sydney Grace featured looks from this, so I could be like, yeah, that actually is absolutely beautiful. So now that I'm covered in swatches, I hope that you enjoyed my spring picks. I would love to know, would these be in your rankings? Do you have a palette that you know that you will reach for this spring? Let me know in the comments. I always enjoy these palette picks videos. I will also, by the way, link my last spring eyeshadow palette picks in the description box in case you want to check that out. You want to hear more spring makeup chatter. I did try to make sure that these were all different palettes. There was one that I picked out and I was like, oh, talked about that last year. So maybe you want to check that out if you want to know more of my thoughts, because evidently I still love it for spring if I wanted to talk about it 2 years in a row. All right, lovelies, I had fun, clearly. Don't forget to give this video a like if you did too, and I will see you really soon.